The invitation to my sister Amanda's CEO of the Year celebration sat unopened on my desk at Nexus Technologies headquarters. 3 years after I vanished from my family's life, here they were trying to pull me back in. What they didn't know was that they were about to walk into my world. "Ms. Chen, the board is ready for you," my assistant Sarah announced. I smiled at the irony. I used to be the assistant. Now I had 30 of them. "The Morgan acquisition papers?" I asked if I already knew Sarah had everything prepared. Unlike my sister, I actually appreciated competent assistance. "Signed and processed. The $840 million transfer has been confirmed." She paused. "Also, your sister's company just released their quarterly reports. They're struggling." Of course they were. I've been secretly buying out their suppliers for the past year. "Time to go make some billionaires nervous," I said, straightening my Armani suit, a far cry from the bargain clothes I wore as Amanda's unpaid family employee. The boardroom fell silent as I entered. 15 of the world's most powerful tech executives sat waiting on my decisions. The irony wasn't lost on me. 5 years ago, I was fetching coffee and scheduling Amanda's spa appointments. "Ladies and gentlemen," I said, taking my seat at the head of the table, "let's discuss the future of artificial intelligence." 3 hours later, I'd secured another $1.2 billion in investments and acquired 2 promising startups. Just another Tuesday at Nexus Technologies, the company I'd built in secret while playing the role of dutiful family servant. "Your parents' RSVP just arrived," Sarah mentioned as we walked back to my office. "They're attending Amanda's celebration." Perfect. I looked out over the Seattle skyline, my skyline now. Time to prepare the presentation. The memories returned as I reviewed the files. 5 years ago. "You're lucky we're giving you this opportunity," Mom had said, pushing the employment contract across the table. "Amanda needs someone she can trust to manage her affairs." "You mean someone you can control?" I'd replied, but I signed anyway. I needed access to their networks, their connections, just for a while. "Remember," Dad added, "family comes first. Amanda's success is all our success." What they didn't know. After 16-hour days managing Amanda's life, I was quietly building something of my own. I used the insights from her business meetings, the connections I made while being just the assistant, to lay the foundation for Nexus Technologies. Every coffee run became a networking opportunity. Every shareholder meeting turned into market research. Every late-night scheduling session was a chance to code my AI algorithms. They thought I was being dutiful. I was being strategic. "Your sister's driving me crazy," Mom would say. "Can't you manage her better?" I did, while also handling million-dollar negotiations under a pseudonym for my company. Then came the ultimatum. "We need you to sign a lifetime contract," Dad announced. "Amanda's going global. She needs permanent support she can trust. And if I don't, then you're cut off. No inheritance, no family connections, no support," Mom said coldly. "Choose wisely." I chose freedom. The next morning, I was gone. No note, no forwarding address, just an empty apartment and a resignation letter. What they didn't know, I had already secured $50 million in silent investments. My ad platform was already serving major tech companies under a different brand. The dutiful daughter they thought they were trapping had already escaped. Now, 3 years later, Nexus Technologies was worth $2.3 billion. My AI systems powered half the Fortune 500, and my sister's company was about to become my next acquisition. "The presentation is ready," Sarah interrupted my thoughts. "Are you sure about this?" I pulled up Amanda's company financials. Their stock had dropped 60% since I started acquiring their supply chain. They needed a bailout, one only I could provide. "Family comes first, right?" I smiled. Time they learned what that really means. My phone buzzed. A message from Amanda. "Can't wait to see everyone at the celebration. Dad says some major tech investors are attending." If only she knew. The sun dipped below the Seattle skyline, casting long shadows across the Nexus Technologies logo on the surrounding buildings. In 48 hours, I'd walk into my sister's celebration, not as her former assistant, but as her company's potential savior. Time to teach them about real family loyalty, about real success, about what happens when you try to trap someone who's already free. I finally opened the invitation, reading the gilt-edged card. Celebrating Amanda Chen, CEO of the Year, soon to be former CEO. unless she learned some hard lessons about family, about respect, and about the assistant who became an empire. Sarah, I called, schedule the private jet for Thursday, and make sure our legal team is ready. Already done, she smiled. The prodigal daughter returns. No, I looked at the Seattle skyline again. The CEO returns. Time to show them what real leadership looks like. Sometimes, the best revenge isn't confrontation. It's success they never saw coming. Power they handed you without realizing it. Freedom they thought they could take. Time to rewrite the family business. On my terms. With my rules. And my definition of loyalty. The board meeting materials for Amanda's company takeover sat ready on my desk. Family comes first, they always said. Time to show them exactly what that means when the assistant becomes the empire and the trapped becomes the free. Thursday couldn't come soon enough. The private jet touched down in San Francisco at precisely 6 p.m. Through the window, I saw my sister's company logo illuminating the evening skyline, soon to be replaced by Nexus Technologies' emblem. Your family hasn't seen you in 3 years, Sarah reminded me as we descended the stairs. Are you ready? I smoothed my Tom Ford dress, worth more than 6 months of my former salary as Amanda's assistant. They're about to see exactly what they created. The venue for Amanda's celebration was predictably ostentatious. The top floor of San Francisco's most exclusive hotel. As my driver pulled up, I spotted my parents greeting guests at the entrance, playing their usual roles of proud mother and father. Ms. Chen. The doorman bowed slightly, not realizing the family connection. The investor's entrance is this way. Perfect. Let them sweat a little longer. The ballroom was a sea of Silicon Valley elites, all gathered to celebrate a CEO whose company was secretly teetering on the edge of collapse. I moved through the crowd unnoticed, watching my sister hold court at the center table. The future of Chen Innovations is brighter than ever, Amanda declared to a group of visibly nervous board members. If only they knew their supply chain was now effectively controlled by her long-lost sister. Ladies and gentlemen, my father took the stage, champagne in hand. We're here to celebrate not just a CEO, but a daughter who understands that family and business go hand in hand. I couldn't help but laugh softly. Sarah shot me a concerned glance. And now, Mom joined him. Please welcome the woman of the hour, my brilliant daughter, Amanda Chen. The applause was polite but restrained. The room knew Chen Innovations was in trouble, even if they didn't yet know why. Amanda took the stage, resplendent in a designer gown that likely cost as much as her company was losing daily. Thank you all for coming. As we look to the future. Excuse me, I said, my voice cutting clearly across the suddenly quiet room. I believe we should discuss that future in detail. The color drained from Amanda's face. My parents froze mid-applause. Elena? Amanda whispered into the microphone. Hello, sis. I moved toward the stage. Congratulations on your award. Though I think CEO of the Year might be a bit premature, given your current financials. Security, my father started to call, then hesitated as several board members stepped forward. Actually, one of them said, we'd very much like to hear what Ms. Chen has to say, especially since Nexus Technologies now controls most of our supply chain. The room erupted in whispers. Amanda gripped the podium. Nexus, that's your company. The very one. I pulled out my phone and projected their real financial data onto the screen behind her. You might want to step down. This presentation is rather important. My parents tried to approach, but Sarah smoothly intercepted them. Ms. Chen is conducting business. Please take your seats. Over the past year, I addressed the room. Chen Innovations has lost 60% of its market value. Your ad platform is outdated. Your supply chain is controlled by external interests, namely me, and your burn rate is unsustainable. Amanda's face shifted from shock to anger. How dare you come here? And what? Tell the truth. That's what assistants are supposed to do, isn't it? I smiled. Though I prefer CEO these days, of a $2.3 billion company that's about to decide your fate. Elena, my mother said, stepping forward, her society smile strained. Darling, let's discuss this as a family. Family? I raised an eyebrow. Like when you tried to force me into lifetime servitude, or when you threatened to cut me off. The room was dead silent, watching the family drama unfold. I have a proposal, I continued, turning to the board members. Nexus Technologies is prepared to acquire Chen Innovations. We'll stabilize the company, upgrade the technology, and protect the jobs of everyone, except current upper management. You can't do this, Amanda whispered. Actually, I can, and I will. I turned to face her directly. Unless. Unless what? Unless you learn the same lesson I did. About working from the ground up. About earning success instead of demanding it. My father tried to interject. Now see here. No, you see here. I cut him off. Amanda has two choices. Sell to me and lose everything, or step down as CEO and work for Nexus Technologies, starting in entry-level product development. The room erupted in murmurs. Amanda's face cycled through rage, disbelief, and finally, fear. Why are you doing this? She asked quietly. Because someone needs to teach his family what real loyalty looks like. What real success requires. I softened my tone slightly. You have potential, Amanda, but you'll never reach it with them whispering in your ear that you deserve everything without earning anything. Sarah handed me the contracts, one for acquisition, one for employment. Your choice, sis. I placed them on the podium, but choose carefully. This time, you're not the one holding all the cards. The silence stretched as Amanda stared at the papers. Finally, with hands slightly trembling, she reached for one of them. Sometimes the greatest lessons come disguised as choices, and sometimes the hardest choices lead to the best futures, even if you have to force someone to make them. Time to see if my sister could learn what I had. That real success isn't given. It's earned. One hard choice at a time. The San Francisco skyline glittered beyond the windows, indifferent to the drama unfolding in its midst, waiting to see which logo would shine brightest tomorrow. Which sister would emerge stronger? Which lesson would finally be learned? The silence in the room was deafening as Amanda picked up the employment contract. Her hands trembled slightly, but her voice was steady when she spoke. I choose to learn. The collective gasp from our parents was almost comical. The board members, however, looked relieved. They knew this was the best outcome for everyone, especially Amanda. A wise choice, I said, taking the signed contract. Report to Nexus Technologies on Monday. Product Development, Level 1. Level 1? Mom interjected, horrified. But she's a CEO. Was a CEO, I corrected. Now she's going to learn how to actually build something, not just manage what others create. The event quickly dissolved after that. The champagne went flat, the celebratory mood vanished, and reality set in. As the crowd thinned, my father approached me, his face a mask of controlled anger. You've humiliated this family, he hissed. No, I said, turning to face him. I've saved it. You just don't know it yet. Sarah appeared at my side with perfect timing. Ms. Chen, your 9 p.m. call with Tokyo is in 15 minutes. Actually, I said, glancing at my family, reschedule it. I think it's time for a long overdue family meeting. We moved to a private conference room, me, Amanda, and our parents. The power dynamic couldn't have been more different from our last family gathering. Let's talk about reality. I began pulling up Chen Innovation's true financials. Amanda, do you actually understand these numbers? She stared at the screen, then slowly shook her head. The CFO handled all that. And the product development pipeline. I've had teams for that. Exactly. I leaned forward. You were a figurehead CEO. They made you look good while the company crumbled beneath you. Elena, Mom started, but I held up a hand. My first job at Nexus, I continued. I wrote code, built products, understood every aspect of what we were creating. That's why we're worth $2.3 billion now. Amanda looked up, something new in her eyes. Will you teach me? That's the plan. But it won't be easy. No special treatment, no shortcuts, no family favors. Like you had? Dad asked, his voice bitter. No, I smiled. Unlike what you tried to force on me, this will be actual learning, actual growth. My phone buzzed. Sarah had sent over Amanda's new employee orientation package. Entry-level salary, standard benefits, normal working hours. Your apartment lease will need to be adjusted, I told Amanda. That penthouse isn't compatible with entry-level income. She can stay with us, Mom offered quickly. No, Amanda's voice was firm. I need to do this right. I'll find something I can afford. I studied my sister, seeing perhaps the first glimmer of real understanding in her eyes. There's a decent apartment complex near the office, I said. Nothing fancy, but clean and safe. Sarah will send you the details. Thank you, Amanda whispered. Don't thank me yet. Monday morning starts with a coding boot camp. Hope you're ready to learn Python. Python? Mom looked confused. A programming language, Amanda explained, surprising me. I always wanted to learn, but everyone said CEOs don't need to code. Well, I said, standing and gathering my things, now you'll learn that, and much more. Welcome to real business, sis. As we prepared to leave, Dad made one last attempt. Elena, surely we can work something out. Keep Amanda in a management position at least. This isn't punishment, Dad, it's opportunity. I face them all. Amanda has real potential, but she needs to build her success, not just wear its title. And us? Mom asked quietly. You get to watch your daughters actually succeed. Both of them. Isn't that what you always wanted? The San Francisco night stretched out below us, the city lights twinkling like opportunities waiting to be seized. Monday morning, 8 a.m. sharp, I told Amanda. Dress code is business casual. And Amanda, leave the Louboutins at home. You'll want comfortable shoes for this journey. She nodded, understanding the symbolism. Sometimes the greatest gifts look like setbacks. The biggest opportunities feel like steps backward. Until you realize they're actually steps forward, just in a different direction. As my car pulled away from the hotel, I watched my family in the rearview mirror. Mom and Dad looked lost, their carefully constructed dynasty crumbling. And Amanda looked thoughtful, maybe even hopeful. Time would tell if she could truly change. If she could learn what I had. That real success leaves calluses on your hands and knowledge in your head, not just titles on your business card. Sarah, I called as we headed to the airport. Make sure Amanda's workstation is ready for Monday. And Sarah? Put her next to Eduardo in product development. Eduardo, our toughest coding mentor. Exactly, I smiled. Time for my sister to learn what real mentorship looks like. The night sky embraced our jet as we took off, leaving San Francisco and its old power structures behind. Sometimes the best family legacies aren't inherited. They're built, line by line, code by code, truth by truth. Time to see if Amanda was ready to build hers. 6 months later, I stood silently, observing through the glass walls of Nexus Technologies' development floor. Amanda sat at her workstation, surrounded by empty energy drink cans and takeout containers. Her designer clothes had been replaced by jeans and a company hoodie. She was deep in conversation with Eduardo, gesturing animatedly at her code. Her latest project passed all test phases, Sarah reported, handing me the evaluation. Eduardo says she's one of his best students. And the attitude? No complaints. She stays late, comes in early, and actually brought coffee for the whole team last week. I smiled, remembering how she used to send me on coffee runs. Any contact with Mom and Dad. They tried visiting twice. She declined, said she was too busy learning. Through the glass, I watched Amanda high-five her teammates as their code compilation succeeded. The joy on her face was real, the kind that comes from creating something, not just managing it. Ms. Chen, Sarah interrupted my thoughts. The board meeting starts in 10 minutes. They're expecting both of you. Both of us. That was new. Amanda looked nervous when she entered the boardroom, clutching her laptop like a lifeline. 6 months ago, she would have swept in with false confidence. Now she had something better, real knowledge. Present your project, Ms. Chen. I nodded to her. She took a deep breath and began explaining the AI optimization algorithm she developed, actually developed, not just overseen. The board members leaned forward, genuinely interested. Impressive, our CTO commented. How soon can we implement this? We already have. Amanda replied. My team deployed it last week. Efficiency is up 23%. My sister had built something real, something that worked, something that mattered. After the meeting, she lingered behind. Elena, thank you. For what? For destroying my life, she smiled slightly, so I could build a real one. My phone buzzed, a message from our parents. Please reconsider Amanda's position. This coding work is beneath her. I showed her the message. She laughed. They still don't get it, do they? I'm happier now than I ever was as CEO. even without the penthouse. My apartment has a garden. I'm growing tomatoes. She shrugged. Turns out success tastes better when you actually create it. I studied my sister, really saw her for the first time in years. The entitled facade was gone, replaced by something authentic. Eduardo suggested you for the team lead position, I said casually. Her eyes widened. Really? You've earned it. The real way this time. She was quiet for a moment. Can I think about it? I want to finish this project first. 6 months ago, she would have grabbed any title she could. Now, she understood the value of completing what you start. Take your time, I smiled. Success isn't a race. As she left to rejoin her team, I watched her stop to help a new intern with their code. The wheel had come full circle, but this time it rested on solid ground. Sometimes the best redemption stories aren't about rising to the top. They're about finding your true foundation. Building from there, one honest achievement at a time. My phone buzzed again. Another parental plea for Amanda's restoration to management. I deleted it without reading. Some people never learn. But Amanda had. And that was worth more than any title they could offer. Time to let her keep building, keep growing, keep proving that real success leaves traces of actual work on your soul, not just empty titles on your door. The San Francisco sunset painted our office in gold, illuminating two siblings who had finally found their true paths. Different roads, same destination. Real success, real worth, real family. Sometimes the best family legacies aren't the ones you're given. They're the ones you build yourself.